score. He doesn't need much. As the Hurricanes set up Patterson, and he will feed the chaos. And it's a 2-0 victory. Martinook, he scores! What a time for his first of the year. Martinook gets Carolina on the board in a blink of an eye. Noesen. Nice move to keep the puck going. Sharp angle shot. Demko makes the save. Puck still loose. Noesen, good work to track it down. It'll find its way back to Burns. Burns shot deflected. And they'll tap it in and score! Noesen, net front. He knows how to get there, and he's tied it at 3. Patterson behind the net. Stuck chance, he scores! Elias Patterson. His third point of the night, his first goal has put Vancouver back in the lead. Stall. His shot blocked away by Demko. Carolina back to the point. Slavin shot right out. Rebound, Jarvis. And Demko got a pad to that. See what happens here. 9.4. They did put time back on block. Right to Burns. Burns. Oh, his shot goes over the top of the net. The good setup, and then Vancouver will get to this, fire at the length of the ice, and that's how the game will end. The Canes had a couple of looks. They fought back from a 2-0 deficit, but it'll be the Canucks taking the 4-3 victory here at Rogers Arena.
And welcome to the Canes Corner podcast. I am Adam Gold. Good morning. Good morning to you in the East. Good afternoon to you, and it's middle of the afternoon, right? In Perth, what, like 1:30 in Perth? It's like 4 o'clock in Adelaide, and heck, you might be if you're listening in Dublin or watching in Dublin, since we're on YouTube, then you might be getting ready for Sunday Premier League action, right? Could be fun. Anyway, Carolina lost tonight. I don't know if you know that. The Hurricanes lost tonight. This is the Canes Corner podcast, and I am Adam Gold. Thank you very much to all of you who are either staying up late with me or getting up, well, not even early. It's not early anywhere except maybe Dublin. Anyway, Canes lost. We're brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. If it's for the exterior of your home, you can find it at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina on Hamlin Road in Durham. No place like it. Sammy Hanna's crew do a great job. All right, I want to get to this. We're not going to be here a long time tonight. It's late, and there's a lot of people that might be in my house that don't feel well. So I want to go through the goals. We're going to do that in a minute. But I want to just maybe point out a couple of things very quickly before we go through the goals tonight. So, 4th straight loss, 4 very different games. Let's go through them. They lose 2-1 in Winnipeg. That's Monday. But Carolina was great in that game, better than Winnipeg in that game, deserved to win, didn't. Just couldn't get a goal past Laurent Brossoit. I never say his name right. I'm not sure I just did there. Antti Raanta played very well. Carolina allowed almost nothing, dominated the game, lost 2-1. Stuff like that happens. In retrospect, who knows what happens to the rest of the road trip if you win that game. But then you go to Edmonton, national TV, 2 nights later. You start just a little bit slow, and that's all Edmonton needs. There are certain teams where you can maybe get off to a slow start. Not a team like that. And when you don't have the puck, and they do, you are cooked. Edmonton was better. They buried Carolina early. Kochetkov was pulled after 3 goals, which meant they went back to Kochetkov the next night in Calgary. Raanta played well. He still gave up 3 goals, but he played well. And the Hurricanes lost the second game. Now, they didn't deserve to win that game, so no big deal. They deserved to win the Winnipeg game and didn't. Then they go to Calgary, have a great first 10 minutes, and got 2 goals out of it. And then the game kind of evened out. And for the rest of the first period, Calgary kind of got their footing in the game. Second period, I thought Calgary was better, albeit just slightly. But Carolina just kind of got away with a weak second period, and then you got to the third and you couldn't close it out. Couldn't do it. Not only couldn't you do it, you played poorly, and you got bad goaltending. So a 2-0 lead became a 3-2 loss because you played poorly, but you got bad goaltending. And then you come to tonight. And frankly, I think Vancouver was the better team, start to finish. And they might be a better team than Carolina, top to bottom. Carolina fought back. Vancouver got the first goal. Carolina's penalty kill kept the game a 1-0 game. And Antti Raanta played really well in the first period. And I thought he played really well in the second period. And frankly, he played really well the whole game, apart from the fourth goal. That has to be stopped. I mean, they didn't lose the game really because of Antti Raanta, but that goal has to be stopped. Now, you could argue that Sebastian Aho shouldn't get beat around the net by Elias Pettersson. But I don't know. Pettersson beats a lot of players. He's that good. But Aho got beat on the play. Still can't allow the goal. It's probably the other two goals that are, I think, Rod Brindamore has him mad. And by the way, according to Elliot Friedman, actually, I'm gonna give credit where credit is due. According to Samuel Cloyd, thanks, Sam. He said that Elliot Friedman said on Hockey Night in Canada that there was a players-only meeting after the game in the Hurricanes locker room. This is like, what, the third one this year? They made some mistakes. So we're going to go through the mistakes. Carolina has made mistakes before. Here's the problem. They're not able right now to overcome the mistakes they're making. We keep saying it. So we went through the 4 losses, but we keep saying it. If you're playing at the highest level and you're playing really well, the Hurricanes are playing really well, like last year and the year before and the year before that, when your forecheck game is clicking and you're creating chance after chance after chance after chance, you can get away with bad goaltending, or you can get away with a soft goal. But that was last year and the year before that and the year before that. Now, when you're not playing as well, and nobody is saying that Carolina is playing the same way as they did a year ago. It's obviously not true. But they're not allowing a ton more than they used to. They're just not getting saves. Sometimes the answer is easy. Again, are they playing to the best of their ability right now? Nope, they are not. But goaltending has cost them. Go back and watch the Islanders game again here. Go watch it again. It's bad goaltending. Very bad goaltending. That's the difference between, they ended up getting a point out of it. That's the difference between 2 points and 1 point. And there are games all year long where Carolina just gave up too many soft goals. Some of them they were able to come back and win. You can't do it. It's not a recipe for success. They are dead last in the NHL. Not even close, by the way. Dead last in save percentage. Dead last in a category, in a category called goals saved above average. If you're at 0, you're probably not in the top half of the league in goaltending, but at least it would be 0. Before tonight, actually, I didn't even look at it after the Calgary game. I might have actually. They were minus 20. Minus 20 in that category. It's a cumulative stat. It's not, and there's no average, there's no formula. It's a cumulative stat. And if you're in negative numbers, it means you're allowing more goals than you probably should based on the quality of the scoring chance. So the defensive breakdowns that Carolina has had actually factor into that number because it accounts for, oh my gosh, that was a that was a juicy chance. And in most cases, the goaltenders don't get burned for those. But they are a minus 20. And that's before tonight. Although Ronta was good enough early where it might have been a net 0 today. Because you got to stop the fourth goal. You have to. No, you have to do it. If you're going to win a hockey game, you got to do that. And they're not getting goaltending. So we were all hoping, we all want Pyotr Kochetkov to be good enough. Now, he's in the first year of a 4-year contract. It's paying him $2 million a year. If he can become your number one goaltender, you're so far ahead of the game with a guy who, again, the organization likes him. Hopefully he can be that in time. He's not that now. Frederik Andersen dealing with a blood clot issue. I mean, you just don't know when he's going to come back. So, and he may not. And that's a real possibility. So the Hurricanes have one option. They don't even have options. They have one option. They go out, they get a goaltender, or they don't make the playoffs. Can't make it any more plain. The goaltender that's going to win you enough games, get you in the playoffs, is not in the building. Not. And it doesn't really matter how much better the team plays in front of him because it ain't going to make up the difference. It just isn't. You cannot allow a soft goal basically every game and expect to win in the NHL. You can't do it. And yeah, Sebastian Aho isn't scoring right now. As we fold the next thing I wanted to get to, Aho, Jarvis, Teravainen on this trip, nothing in 4 games. You can't have your best players do nothing on the score sheet. You can't have your best offensive players not produce. Doesn't work that way. Andrei Svechnikov has 1 goal. 1. Andrei Svechnikov and Jordan Martinook are tied for with 1 goal apiece for Carolina. Jalen Chatfield is 2. Now, Andrei's been hurt. He's missed 2 games in a row. Missed a game with an illness. Missed the first 8 games recovering from the knee surgery. And maybe he's not all the way back. Maybe he's just not quite there. But he's playing. And if he's playing, he has to produce. That's what he gets paid to do. And that's what Aho gets paid to do. And Teravainen and Jarvis. These guys get paid to put points on the board. And right now, in this 4-game skid, in this 4-game poop stain, they're 0 for the trip. They can't be 0 for the trip. This Perry Kotkaniemi, I think, is 0 for his last 6 games. I thought he was particularly mid tonight. So you've got all these issues. You got your top guys not scoring. You're having a few more breakdowns than you normally would have. And your goaltending is catastrophically bad. Like, in the 6 years of Rod Brindamore as the head coach, The Hurricanes have basically had the first 3 years, they had league average goaltending. Actually, it was the first 2 years. League average goaltending with Mrazek and McElhinney in year 1, with Mrazek and Reimer in year 2. And then in year 3, it was Nedeljkovic and Reimer and Mrazek. Then in year 4, it was Anderson and Ranta. Year 5, Anderson and Ranta and Kochetkov. And in the last 3 years, the Hurricanes were top 10. Well, the pandemic year, they were like, 7th or 8th in goaltending. The first year of Anderson Ranta, they were first. They won the Jennings Trophy. And then last year, when it wasn't a good regular season for Freddie, it was great until late for Kochetkov. And the Hurricanes were fine. They were getting good enough goaltending. Again, they don't need great goaltending. They just need decent goaltending. If you could get league average goaltending, what's their record? So, are there other issues? Yep, there are other issues, and we're going to get to those as we go through the goals. But it really boils down to the fact that Carolina's goaltending is the worst in the league, and you cannot make the playoffs if you're 32nd in save percentage and 32nd in goals saved above average. And that's where they are. Dead F last. DFL. All right, to the goals. First Vancouver goal, probably of all the goals, of the 4 goals, this is probably the one that, while there was an issue, I understand. Pettersson's coming in with a head of speed, and I mean, he is an incredible skater, and sometimes the speed causes you to retreat. I've seen Eric Stahl do this to players when Eric was with the Hurricanes. I've seen Eric Cole do this to players because the speed is such that it forces you to backpedal. So when Pettersson is bringing it across the blue line, you see Aho and Slavin and Burns all backing off. What that did was allow him more space. And then the shot, I think the shot was deflected on the way through, so Ranta couldn't swallow the rebound, although he's not amazing at rebound control. Sam Lafferty, the side of the goal, easy goal. If I was ranking the goals that made me mad, that would not be in the top 2. It wouldn't be in the top 3. That's the goal, I think. Okay. Yeah. And Vancouver was better in the period anyway. I think the period ended 13-8 in shots. Carolina got a little bit better at the end. I would point this out. And this, I don't know, people thought I was crazy for saying this, but it was the truth. The first 4, maybe 5 shifts of the game, Carolina was awesome. Like, if you looked at, even though they only had 1 official shot on goal, they just had some shots blocked and missed the net a couple of times, which, by the way, Carolina has to stop having so many shots blocked. I have to assume they lead the NHL in having their own shots blocked. Anyway, they had a huge edge in shot attempts over the first 4, maybe 5 minutes of the period, and then it went the other way. Now, Ranta made a couple of good saves to keep it 0-0, and then ultimately the Pettersson goal happens, and it's 1-0. Second Vancouver goal. This was the worst one. This is ranked number 1 on my how does that happen list. So it's like a neutral zone mistake that allows a 2-on-1. And I forget who passed the puck to Pettersson. Excuse me. But Carolina, they got back and made the pass difficult, so the pass was off the mark. But Pettersson was able to go chase it down along the half wall, pretty close to the goal line extended, the red line. And from there, he just threw a pass across the crease in front of Ranta. I mean, it wasn't all the way down by the goal line, so there was a diagonal nature. It was definitely below the faceoff dot, as far as I can remember. And the pass goes right to Ilya Mikhailov, who was supposed to be marked by Martin Necas. Necas was there. He was at the top of the crease. He could have reached out his hand and patted Mikhailov on the shoulder. Could have rubbed his belly. He could have picked his nose. The glove would get in the way. Necas was right there. But he wasn't. And that's what Rod will say. We were there, but we weren't there. Necas was there, but he wasn't there. And you could tell, as soon as that goal was scored, Necas was like trying to find a hole in the ice. If I have one fault with Rod Brind'Amour, and I have very few, one fault with Rod Brind'Amour, it's that when guys lose their assignments to that extent, I think they have to be benched. But I understand why he doesn't. Necas has a high level of skill, and Carolina needs skill. But man, that crap happens too much. That's a goal. That goal is not on Antti Ranta. That goal should be hanging in Martin Necas' locker. That's the goal that makes it 2-0. Now, Jordan Martinook scored. You heard it. About time. I like Jordan. While he's not paid to score goals, he's also not paid to not score goals. So have at it. But he got his first. But that's not how we measure whether or not Martinook plays well. And shouts to all of you for using plus minus. That line hasn't scored. That's why the plus minus looks the way it does. Stahl has what? 2 goals, 3 goals? Fost has 2. Now Martinook has 1. Come on. At this time last year, Fost had probably 6 or 7. Stahl had about the same. Martinook might have been in double figures by now. So not scoring goals will impact your plus minus. They have just not scored goals. Again, but Martinook's goal came on the shift after Martin Necas went on mental walkabout. So it went from 2-0 to 2-1 in half a minute. So that was cool. And then, of course, Necas and Bunting on the ice. Brock Besser, puck behind the net. JT Miller comes right down the slot. And Necas and Bunting were doing exactly what I did tonight, watching the game. Come on. You can't allow JT Miller to just waltz down the slot. Somebody's got to go with him. But neither guy was watching the game. They were just watching the play. Neither guy was paying attention to where, whether or not somebody was coming down the slot. No chance for Antti Ranta on that goal at all. No chance. That's the third Vancouver goal. The fourth one is Pettersson going behind the net. Aho banging into the back of the net a little bit to slow his own momentum down. But Ranta's got to have the wraparound chance. Wasn't that good a wrap? It's Antti Ranta's. It's so late. I don't even know how to say it. You can't get beat 5-hole on a wrap chance. That's the way I say it. And I swear all of Ranta's goals that he allows on wraps, he gets beat 5-hole. What is your stick doing? You have a big paddle on your stick. Use the paddle. Ronta knows that. I don't want to scream about it on a podcast. So those are the goals. The 2 goals in the middle, goals 2 and 3, I mean, Rod Brind'Amour will be sick over those. The last goal, Antti Ranta will be sick over it. Not that Rod Brind'Amour isn't also sick over it, because it's worth being sick over it. So I'll close with this. It's the same thing. Yes, Carolina's best players need to be better. By the way, this is why it's hard to, if I interact on Twitter during the games, I'm watching, especially when the Hurricanes are on the road and I'm watching it on TV. It's harder to see what's going on. You have to concentrate more. So I'm not going to engage. But my gosh, every single one of you saying the same things you said last year when they had a great record. They don't necessarily need more skill. Could they use somebody to put the puck in the net? Yeah, they could. They could. Maybe that somebody is Andrei Svechnikov. Maybe that somebody is Sebastian Aho. Maybe that somebody is Jesperi Kotkaniemi or Martin Necas, which it just isn't happening enough with those guys. But you can't possibly say with a straight face this team has no skill. But I get it. Everybody's angry and frustrated. We want to figure out something to blame. If the Hurricanes fix the goaltending, everything will get better. I absolutely believe that, because it's human nature. It is so obvious to me that they don't have great faith in goaltending. Now, I think they played better tonight because they did have faith in Ranta. I think right now they are playing terrified in front of Kochetkov. That's the way the third period worked in Calgary. They were terrified to make a mistake. And when you play that way, you do. That's where we are. The Hurricanes are, well, they're not 6th. They're tied for 4th in the Metro. There are 3 teams on 29 points. The Rangers lead the division. The Devils and Flyers are ahead, because the Devils have won 3 in a row. The Flyers have won 4 in a row. And the Hurricanes are tied, I think, with the Capitals and the Islanders. I don't even know who they're tied with, but they're 6th. They're 6th in the Metro when you look at all the tiebreakers. So they're not in a playoff spot right now. So maybe it's time to for the Hurricanes locker room to once again post the standings. Maybe they need to look at it every day. Just wondering. Until Tuesday. Man, to stay up all the way to 2 o'clock in the morning for that? Yeah, okay. It's all right. Hopefully the Hurricanes will get it together. Hopefully they'll add a goaltender. And if you're asking me who they can add, I mean, I don't know any more than you could read. Jake Allen, Sam Montembeault from Montreal. Would Montreal even trade with Carolina? I don't know. Maybe you can give him Jesperi Kotkaniemi back. The truth is that there's not a lot of great goaltenders available. Therein lies the problem. Therein lies the dilemma with where Carolina is. But they have to go get one. They have to figure out a way to get a goalie. And all the names you think might be, could you get John Gibson? I don't know. I don't know what you'd have to give up for John Gibson, to be honest. But Gibson has a pretty big contract, so there would have to be something going the other way. So it's one of those. I'll just put it this way. The Hurricanes have set a very high bar for themselves, and they are more than capable of reaching that bar, if not exceeding it. And when they don't, this is what happens. Everybody gets mad. Everybody tries to find things to blame. That's what success does. So now it's time to deal with some adversity amid the success. If they're mentally tough, if they can lean into their game, if the front office can help them out, they'll be fine. If they decide as an organization to see what happens, they won't. They won't. I'll say this. I said it on the radio. I said it earlier on Twitter. I think they've got till Christmas. That ain't a long time from now, people. They have until Christmas. That is officially 15 days from now. Fix the goaltending, or it's too late. Or you're asking too much anyway. Fix the goaltending. And that I have nothing else. We're brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. If it's for the exterior of your home, you can find it at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina on Hamlin Road in Durham. No place like it. Sammy Hanna and his crew do a great job. Appreciate your time. I hope you appreciate the fact that I did this at 1:30 in the morning when I'm dragging. Anyway, have a good one. Watch out for bad weather in the Raleigh area tomorrow. And we'll see everybody on Tuesday on the next Canes Corner podcast here live on YouTube. Hey, rate, review, like, subscribe. What else do we do? Caress. Be nice to each other. Bye.